And so all of these things kind of come together, and I'm like, I'm participating in like the biggest fraud of the 21st century. We're putting people on drugs that don't necessarily work. But in a whole, in those 3 years, what I end up discovering is that we're practicing way outside of the evidence base, and that the research supporting these medications, particularly, honestly, after about like 3 months, is really poor. And so the first thing that I notice is that none of the drugs are studied longer than a year in a controlled trial, which to me, I'm just thinking like, this is ridiculous. I mean, we have drugs that clearly cause tolerance. They wear off over time. And no one ever said, hey, FDA or NIMH or any of these big government institutions that we trust, they never said, hey, we should probably look. In fact, there's a lot of evidence that these drugs are actually making people worse because the brain is not designed to be on drugs for like decades at a time. And we've been lying to people. We've been telling them they're safe and effective without saying, oh yeah, for like the less than a year they were studied for. And I mean, that's just the start of this. After this, there's a huge propaganda machine going on. There's corruption in academia and also in how the news covers this. And it was just this thing that I just kept on digging into. And I was just like, oh, now I see what happens when you have like $1 billion pharmaceutical and eventually use that influence and resource to shape the narrative around these drugs. And so, yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years.